No one across the political spectrum is safe from the acid wit of Bill Maher, the comedian and host of Real Time on HBO. On recent episodes of his show, he has brought his sharp analysis to big issues in the news, such as the presidential election and college campus protests.
Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because this one's going to be fiery. Bill Maher, never one to shy away from controversy, has just delivered a blistering takedown of CNN. And let me tell you, no one is safe from his sharp critique. Whether you're on the left, the right, or somewhere in between, Maher's accusations of hypocrisy and bias at CNN are going to make you rethink everything you thought you knew about mainstream media. So, is CNN really the neutral ground they claim to be? Or is Bill Maher exposing something we've all secretly suspected? Let's dive in, but trust me, you don't want to miss a second of this. Before we get started, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more unfiltered takes on the biggest stories in media and politics. Did you just subscribe? Fantastic. Now let's dig into the drama.
So, in the middle of your book, you write, "Some people think I've changed. I assure you I have not. I'm still the same unmarried, childless, pot-smoking libertine I always was. I have many flaws, but you can't accuse me of maturing."
Bill Maher, the razor-sharp host of Real Time on HBO, has built his reputation on saying what others won't. Over the years, he's taken shots at politicians, celebrities, and even his own audience when he felt it was warranted. But this time, he's turned his sights on CNN, accusing the network of failing to live up to its claims of fairness and balance. On a recent CNN interview, Maher didn't just make small talk. He used the opportunity to lay out a scathing critique, pointing out what he sees as a major problem: CNN's so-called commitment to presenting both sides of political debates is nothing more than a facade. For Maher, it's not about just featuring voices from across the political spectrum. It's about how those voices are treated once they're on the air. And let's just say, Maher didn't pull any punches. He accused CNN of sidelining conservative voices, making their inclusion feel more like tokenism than genuine representation. It's a claim that's resonating with viewers who've grown increasingly skeptical of mainstream media. Maher's criticism wasn't just some vague rant, it was laser-focused. He brought up specific examples like a recent panel discussion following Kamala Harris's speech. Maher pointed out how CNN spent nearly 15 minutes gushing over Harris's performance before finally allowing conservative commentator Scott Jennings to weigh in. "5 liberals and 1 conservative," Maher quipped. "That's not a debate, that's a setup." And he didn't stop there. Maher argued that this kind of imbalance isn't just a one-off incident. It's part of a broader pattern where conservative voices are drowned out, sidelined, or outright dismissed. For Maher, it's not enough to invite conservatives onto the show. The real test is whether their opinions are given the same weight and respect as their liberal counterparts.
And I know what the conservative side of America thinks, and I don't blame them. I watched Kamala's speech last night. It ended at 8:09, I guess 11:09 in the East. It wasn't until 11:23 till the one conservative guy, what's his name?
Scott Jennings.
This lonely Scott, I call him.
David Urban was there too.
Wait a second. I watched from 8:09 to 8:23, they were just gushing about how great a speech it was. And I think she did fine. I didn't think it was as good as they were making it out to be.
This criticism hits a nerve, especially in today's polarized climate. Many viewers feel that networks like CNN talk a big game about being unbiased, but their actions tell a different story. The CNN host wasn't about to let Maher's critique go unanswered. She argued that CNN provides a platform for both sides, pointing to their track record of hosting figures like Elizabeth Warren and Ted Cruz. According to her, this balance proves that CNN is committed to fair reporting. But Maher wasn't buying it. He pointed out that having diverse guests doesn't mean much if their perspectives are routinely dismissed or overshadowed. He compared it to a dinner party where one guest is invited but never allowed to speak. "What's the point?" Maher asked. He also questioned the sincerity of CNN's efforts. Are conservative voices genuinely being included to foster dialogue, or are they just there to check a box and create the illusion of balance? It's a question that many viewers have been asking for years. Maher's critique goes beyond CNN. It taps into a larger issue with mainstream media as a whole. For years, networks have claimed to be neutral arbiters of truth, but Maher argued that this neutrality is often a carefully crafted illusion. He pointed to a culture of groupthink in media organizations, where certain viewpoints are amplified while others are silenced. This, he said, isn't just bad journalism, it's dangerous. In a world where trust in media is already at an all-time low, these practices only deepen the divide between audiences and the institutions that are supposed to inform them, and Maher isn't alone in his concerns.
Because you were on Stephen Colbert's show, and he said something like, you guys at CNN just report the news straight, and the crowd burst into laughter. Look, I'm on CNN now. I guess we're on it right now. I mean, they show this show the next night. I don't know how we get away with it with all the fucks, but they do. And all these dirty jokes. But I'm glad, and I'm a big rooter for CNN. But that tells you a lot, doesn't it? I mean, how do you guys think you are doing in that arena of like, this is a terribly divided country. We're not only politicized, a lot of people just hate the other side. And CNN, in my view, should be the place where both sides can watch. How do you think you're doing with that?
How is CNN is the place where both sides can watch. And I think, you know, my show is evidence of that. We have lawmakers on from both parties. We'll have Elizabeth Warren on one night. We'll have Ted Cruz on another night. I think lawmakers from both parties should take questions, and you should push both of them. But on CNN being a place of credibility, I mean, look at what just happened in Chicago. We had 300 people from CNN on the ground covering that convention. There were several reporters from just our team alone on the floor, bringing it in real time to people. And I think CNN puts resources behind things and just brings a level of news that you don't get anywhere else.
Critics from across the political spectrum have long accused mainstream media of pushing specific narratives while sidelining dissenting voices. Maher's comments have reignited this debate, forcing viewers to take a closer look at how their news is delivered. Of course, it wouldn't be a Bill Maher segment without a bit of humor. During the interview, Maher brought up a moment from Stephen Colbert's show, where Colbert jokingly claimed that CNN just reports the news straight. The audience erupted in laughter, highlighting the skepticism many people feel about CNN's claims of impartiality. This moment of levity underscored a serious point. Even comedians see through the facade. For Maher, it's not enough for networks to claim they're neutral. They need to prove it through their actions. As Maher's comments continue to circulate, they're sparking intense debates online.
I'm a conservative in America, and I'm watching CNN, just for the straight middle of the road. That's what I hear for 15 minutes, is it's great, and then Lonely Scott. It does look, I mean, and when you see the path, it does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View. It's like it's almost better to have nobody there, like MSNBC, than to have this.
Well, I don't think you can say it's better to have nobody there and then also lament the fact that you don't think the conservative guy, Scott Jennings, who is great, and we have him on my show all the time, spoke up early enough. I think it was a Democratic convention. They turned to Democrats, people like David Axelrod, who ran successful presidential Democratic campaigns first, for their analysis of this. And I don't think that you can say that CNN is anything but fair. I mean, look at that. We covered President Biden's exit from the race very closely, the pressure on him to get out. And I feel like I can speak with authority on this. I'm from Alabama. I'm from a very red state. I have a very conservative family, a lot of them who are Trump voters. They watch my show every night. And I think they know that they can trust me, that, you know, we call bullshit on every side, not just whatever leaning our audience may be. And I think that's something that people actually want more of, is to hear from that. I think Scott's voice is really important, but I think other voices are important to hear from. And everyone who was speaking last night, it's not like they were all Democrats. I mean, we had Dana Bash, Jake Tapper, Abby Phillip, all my amazing colleagues.
They come across
giving
that way.
Analysis.
They come across that way. In a moment like that, it was like 5-1. It always looks like 5-1. Okay.
Some viewers are applauding him for calling out what they see as obvious bias, while others argue that his critique oversimplifies the issue. But regardless of where you stand, one thing is clear. Maher has struck a nerve. His critique of CNN isn't just about one network, it's about the role of media in shaping public opinion. And in today's polarized world, that's a conversation worth having. So what's your take on all this? Is Maher spot on about CNN's bias? Or do you think his critique misses the mark? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for more deep dives into the biggest stories in media and politics. Your support helps us keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay informed and stay curious.